Good evening. Welcome to the 5-8, where we discuss each of the week's 5 most fucked up topics for 8 minutes. 5 topics, 8 minutes, 2 hosts. I'm singing a lot of curse words and as many cocktails as we deem necessary. LB, how are you?
Well, I wasn't going to share it, but I'll share it. I have, as you know, an inner ear infection, and I just missed getting. I wasn't going to go to urgent care. I got a doctor's appointment somehow. Managed that for first thing in the morning. So I'm a little off tonight, everybody, and I can't hear. And it sounds like I'm in a tunnel or something underwater with buzzing.
Maybe.
So, it was hard to discern whether that was what was actually happening to my body or just my experience being an American at this point in time. Underwater, in a tunnel, can barely hear anything. I'm tipsy-turvy. I feel like I'm going to fall down, and there's constant ringing. That's pretty much how you feel, right?
That tracks. No, I went to the I'm drinking white wine because I'm getting something a little lighter tonight. I felt like I wanted to keep my wits about me since we're having after hours tonight.
After hours tonight.
By the way,
my pajamas in bed. That's fine.
The show's neat tonight, by the way. Neat means there's no guests. It's just us.
It's just us because this all I can handle.
Yeah.
Handle it.
So that's what we're doing. No, I went to the liquor store to buy this bottle of wine, and I go in there. This is like 4:00 in the afternoon. I go in there and say, the guy working there says hi, and I'm like, good morning. I say good morning, which is, and then I went and I got the thing, and he's like, as I'm checking out, he goes, well, how you doing? And I wanted to say, like, I'm hanging in, I'm hanging in. And instead I said, I'm hanging out.
Yeah.
And then I think, I'm going to be on a live show talking in like not long from now. And I don't even know the right rejoinders to supply to this guy at the liquor store. It's really, that's where I'm at,
All right. So
that's where I'm at.
So we all have an inner ear issue.
Maybe you're like breaking through the simulation, and you're like, you're like going down the long hallway in Severance, and you're going to pop out of the elevator,
Yeah.
Probably their ear hurts when they're doing that thing.
Probably it does, but then they don't remember.
They don't remember.
Then they don't remember. It'd be nice to not remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a little bit of wish fulfillment now.
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting some love in the comments. Okay. Well, even though we don't have a guest and we're not typically we jump in because we want to get to our guest, we don't want to keep people waiting. I don't want to keep my inner ear waiting.
No, we don't want to keep.
And we do, again, we'll have an after hours tonight because we've got some stories to tell.
We have stories to tell.
We're going to tease it a little bit. So last Friday, was it last Friday?
It was Sunday.
Blackout?
Oh, no. Friday was the blackout. Yeah.
The last Friday show we had was the blackout show. So if we didn't want people to pay, you're gonna want to hear these stories. So Greg came. We'll talk a little bit about it at the end, but came up to where I live in upstate New York, further upstate than him. And we did a live show. We had some folks come, we announced it on this show. We had some folks travel and come. It was amazing.
Very nice, yeah.
It was sort of standing room only. It was a big deal for this little village. Yeah, it was a lot of people there. I thought it was a great show. We'll get to that in a second. But then, I had Greg up here, and we're not that far from Harlan Crow's compound.
Right. So
there may have been a little adventure that we'll have to share in the after hours.
Yeah, we're going to share it in the after hours.
Go ahead and join. Give some memberships.
Yeah. This one really is going to be members only, by the way, because last time there was too much technical stuff going on at that. I couldn't do it.
It was hard at the event to coordinate that as a members only. So that ended up being a live show for everybody. So we're giving you tonight, and we're giving you a special story. Greg and Stephanie's big adventure in the snow.
And we're going to talk about Severance and White Lotus.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be nice. And I'll be in my pajamas and I'll be in bed. And that's that.
All right.
Okay, so let's get going. I'm
Let's
going to
get
put
going.
8 minutes on the clock. Again, I can't really hear, so I'm going to try to hear what you're saying to me.
Okay.
Should be okay. I can't even find my clock. There we go.
All right.
Not.
Well, we're on.
Yeah, we're on.
Okay. So we need to talk about, obviously the State of the Union, which isn't the State of the Union. It's technically it's a joint address. Somebody wrote in to tell me, it's not called the State of the Union. It's called a joint address. And it's just like, oh, okay. That matters so much now. Like no one, and then I go on, like AOC called it the State of the Union. Everyone online called it. This is fucking, who cares? It's the State of the fucking Union. And we all knew that Trump was going to go up there and lie and do, his bullshit. And
Did
his
you watch it?
No, I did
I
not
didn't
watch
either.
it. I did not listen to it. I did not read it afterwards. I do not give a fuck what he said. It's not
I'm
important to
with
me.
you. Exactly.
I had a friend of ours, drunk texting me stuff that was happening, and that was way more amusing
That's
than
entertaining.
yeah, that way more amusing than anything else could have been. So, but what I was really curious about is what the Democrats were going to do, and because I had proposed an idea, maybe get up en masse and put a picture there, and then have your own counter programming State of the Union where everybody goes and delivers the same speech. So it's instead of one person talking for everyone, it's everyone talking the same point, which might also, get the Democrats all used to the idea that they're one party and have to move like a monolith in this situation.
Maybe
right?
things are more important than just them as individuals.
Yeah, I
That
think
would
so.
be interesting.
So I have a review now. Watching, reading what I did and seeing what I did, I have a review or a critique of them. Okay. And the critique is this. It's just, they got to do better. You see,
Mournful signage.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on. So
Yeah, I just, I was saying to you before we went live of, there's always the scolds, right? Like if you're blaming Democrats instead of focusing on the Republicans, you're doing it all wrong and you're here. It's like, bitch, I can do both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got enough bandwidth in my intellect and my box of words and thoughts and ideas. It just that whole thing of like, don't go after the Dems, even though they're completely falling down all over the place and fucking us royally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Truly, because we need there's only two parties, and we need the resistance party, right?
Yeah.
We need that party to get it together on a very basic level.
Yeah.
Just basic, have your shit together.
Like literally
Have a
together.
communication
Like get it
strategy.
literally together.
Literally get it together. I feel like the people scolding me, everyone about that are from it's like you didn't get enough by scolding everybody about not criticizing Merrick Garland. It's the same voices, and now it's carrying over, and it's like, you're the problem. You're the problem as well. Fuck off. So we've got to get these, the communication strategy is everything begins with words. A lot of times it ends with words. If you have your words together, you can end things just with words. You don't need South Carolina firing squads. That news just broke. As they killed somebody by firing squad in South Carolina. We don't need civil war. We don't need insanity. World War III, I heard, was thrown out. Was that thrown out at the stupid address? I don't know.
Yeah, it was that or some Zelensky thing.
I don't know what. Oh yeah, during Zelensky, you're going to start blaming Zelensky for that. We just get your words together and force do better. Force the situation so that you can get the news coverage. If you're on Capitol Hill and you've been there through I don't know how many election cycles, if you're Chuck Schumer and you haven't figured out how to actually get the press to cover what you have to say, you need to go home. You've been there forever and you haven't figured out basic number one baseline communication to the American people who you're there, state of New York, yes, and the American people who you're there to represent, and you can't get your words to us. Get your words together. Be in sync. It works. Republicans figured out how to make that work. It works for them. It works really, really well. Get it together. Get your words together. Be in sync. Be there for one another. Something's more important than you as an individual. You're not so fucking special that you have to have your own special little thing. You can be part of the group with the effort being about us, not you, us. Get your words together. Share your words. Coordinate your words. And then have a very simple plan for how you're going to make sure those words get to us.
Yeah. It's not.
It's that basic.
It's not.
You're not doing that basic thing.
And that was fine, even 8 years ago. But now we have Nazis running the government, and we're going to talk about this later. They are putting it through the wood chipper, and we're running out of time. That's the thing. We're running out of time. The policies and the party platforms and all this shit is meaningless now until we get rid of the Nazis.
Right. And people are, it's like, are people waking up? People are tuning into the effects that all this destruction is having on their own lives because they're losing jobs, or they're having friends lose jobs, or they're all of a sudden facing losing services, or the cost of things is going to, the tariffs they understand the destruction is harmful and is going to hurt them. And if you don't have any kind of communication or messaging together to reach all of us, right? To frame what's happening in a helpful way, guess what's going to fill the void? A bunch of lies and a bunch of nonsense about what's going on and why things are bad. A bunch of hate. We already know this. We know this. How can you be so fucking dumb? Sorry, I'm swearing. I'm in pain. It's not good. I feel sick. I'm sorry about the F-bombs. But how can you be so stupid still?
Yeah.
Still.
And there are people in the party that are doing good things that do know what they're doing.
Yes. Let's hear from one of them.
Yeah. I mean, AOC handled it well. She didn't go. She was tweeting during the thing. And then she had a Instagram live after talking about all the lies and stuff. Jasmine and Max Frost and some other people left during the thing. Obviously,
but again,
Green, shouted at Trump, which was wonderful. And everyone should have just kept going. As soon as he left, the next person should have gotten up and done the same thing. Disrupt. This guy can barely read. He can barely stand there and just disrupt him. Just get him off his game. He's not used to this stuff. But no. Hakeem Jeffries was mad at everybody. He was mad because they didn't show decorum, which is the same thing as Merrick Garland talking about the norms. That shit is gone. The time for that is over. It's just over.
So over. It's been over for.
Yeah.
Oh, new things are needed. They are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next.
Yeah. Al Green was good trouble and no one supported him. I'm still so flabbergasted that there were Democrats that still believe they have to do the performative crap to keep their jobs because they're in a reddish area, or maybe they took a Republican seat. Fuck you. I'm sorry. There's another F-bomb.
But it's also,
I'm the one giving the F-bombs tonight. Go. I do believe those people should be primaried. Primary them.
Assuming there's even a friggin' election that
matters.
That's another. That's an assumption that they're making that they should not make right now. These people are fascists.
Just normal politics.
They want to end it all.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit, about standing up and yelling at a Nazi.
Yeah.
Dorothy Thompson, who, wrote the thing, who's going to Nazi, whatever the essay was for Harper's, right? She interviewed Hitler and called him a little man and stuff like that. When she got thrown out of Germany in 1940, 30, whatever year it was, and then was at the American Bund rally in Madison Square Garden in New York. And you know what she did there? She sat back and she held up no, she heckled like a motherfucker until they threw her out. That's what she did.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what you have to do. Get thrown out.
Yeah.
Good trouble.
It's not like you're missing anything, you know?
Disrupt it, disturb it. Throw as much sand as you can in the wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. All right. We got to move on to the next topic.
Let's move on.
Before I lose it, both ears. Here we go. All right.
Blame Canada. Yeah.
Now,
we haven't talked about this. We're just talking about this. We're talking through it here a little bit. The whole thing with Canada is so bizarre to me. Like, I get it on some level that he's trying to cause disruption and ruin everything, tank the economy and, rattle the saber so that I guess he wants to annex Canada as the 51st state, which, come on. First of all, it's way too big to be one state. What are you doing? But also, like, that's not going to happen. Like, what are you talking about, man? And no one is helped by what he's doing with these tariffs. Like, no one in the United States and no one in Canada. So why the fuck is he doing this? What are your thoughts on this? Because I'm flummoxed by the whole thing.
I'm not flummoxed at all by it. He is Putin's maid. He is. So the Arctic, there's a whole battle that's been going on with the land up in the Arctic and trying to drill and doing all of this stuff. There is Putin has his operatives and his folks within Canada's, Canada's different, right? You get a prime minister, you have all these different territories, but there's all kinds of political malfeasance, just like we've had here and there've been elsewhere, that the Kremlin has been up to with Canada because they want that land. He wants to get in there. And so Justin Trudeau was on a hot mic, I think today or yesterday, and literally said he's the only reason for this tariff stuff is because he wants to financially break Canada to the point to where we can be annexed. And he used the word annex. Basically be Crimea. I think it's just all a gift to Putin. Everything is a gift to Putin. Everything. And Xi, who's always lurking, behind Putin. So it's just that. That's it. So call it a 51st state and make a snide little trolly thing of calling Justin Trudeau the governor of Canada, as if that's going to be a state and he'd just be the governor. And it could be as like DOGE as possible, right? In behavior and mannerisms from the 11-year-olds that are running everything, emotional 11-year-olds. But it is about that.
Well, that meant that
same thing at Greenland.
I was going to say with Greenland, which he's clearly, who first brought up the idea about Greenland, by the way? Tom Cotton.
I think it was Tom Cotton. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of, people that are probably not on the up and up, but he keeps going back to it, and it's someone is repeating this to him. And it makes sense if you look just at a map of the Arctic Circle, like around it. It's just that's what it all is. So,
yeah, that's it. So I don't think it's any more complicated than, giving Daddy what he wants.
And then he can take money because we're going to have this strategic crypto reserve.
Oh God.
Which we need about let's have a strategic syphilis reserve. Why do we need this? We don't need it. Get it out of here. It's
I don't know what their plans are.
Yeah.
So they seem to have a lot of plans around currency.
Can New York just join Canada? Can we just do that? That would give
I
them,
would love
that,
it.
That would really boost the economy there. And yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. And Canada has, Canada has a lot of incredible nation state resources. They have a great intelligence services. They always have had. They're one of the Five Eyes. All this is
Mhm.
it would
They're
work.
they're with Europe. When we talk about Europe later, we include Canada in that because
Yeah, I think they definitely
participation.
are I'm very much hoping they're throwing down with Europe when it comes to Ukraine. So, and I think Europe would welcome to keep Canada in the mix. I don't know. We'll sort of see. But there's definitely a reshuffling. We're reshuffling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's on the other border too. And this is Hegseth, Vance, and Kristi Noem took a helicopter down to the border this week.
Oh,
Did you see that? Like
I didn't.
it I it's a reality show administration. Like
Yeah.
Pete
Traitors.
Hegseth is like, right,
Traitors,
traitors.
like
It's
traitors.
literally traitors. Every
Yeah.
time that trends, I'm like, oh, what did Trump do? Oh, it's just the show.
It's the show.
Pete Hegseth is like, some sort of poisoned bachelor, right? That's like The Bachelor. And what's that show that they do where everybody has to do like the Navy SEAL training? And it's like, celebrities that are jumping out of helicopters and stuff. That's what Kristi Noem looks like to me. She looks like she's on that show, or Fear Factor or something. Fear Factor, hosted by Joe Rogan.
Naked and Afraid is where I'm hoping it all ends up.
Naked and Afraid is that'll be the Marjorie one. And then Vance. I mean,
yeah.
I have to get crude. His
No.
face looks like I'm sorry to say, it looks like a testicle. It just does.
No. I can't believe you just put that into my head.
I know, but somebody
I'm
put it
already
into my
not
head.
going to sleep, Greg.
I know. I'm sorry,
No,
but that's
please.
what he looks like.
Oh, no, you'd never said that to me before. That's such a bad. I'm not going to be able to get that out of my
horrifying. And like, who is this guy? He's like, he's got that big dumb smile.
I can't. No, stop.
All right. My mom was saying people were talking about that he looks like the devil. I'm
literally seeing it now. I'm seeing it.
My mom was saying there's people that are saying that he just looks like the devil. Like he just looks like Satan,
Yeah.
So it's like
there's a real evil thing going on there.
Yeah. So I don't know what reality show he's from. I don't know what.
I just want to come back to Canada real quick.
Okay.
Just in terms of, I think the tariffs are hitting. The lumber is a real thing. Americans are really going to feel this. I can't imagine they're not going to feel it. It's not just costs, things skyrocketing out of sort of control. It's the effects that whatever craziness to cover up for it all, right, that's going on is in and of itself also damaging. So I put out a post, and we've said this before. We said this in the first endlessly for the first 4 years this guy was in office, that back then, that these are distractions because the economy, when the economy takes a hit or we lose jobs or something devastating that reaches beyond people's, like, the goodies that they get there in their hate field for owning the libs, or thinking, we finally got George Soros, or whatever their MAGA fantasy is. Things like, oh my God, I can't fill up my gas. That stops it, right? So the tariffs are going to do this, really damaging us with our very, very important and beloved neighbor and ally, Canada, really hurting Canadian economy, really hurting our local economy. Is going to be hit hard here. So there's all kinds of places where, whether it's the lumber, whether it's whatever it is, maybe it's liquor, whatever it is.
Toilet paper. All of our paper products are made in Canada.
Paper products. You're just going to, and so Trump is going to make up for that by just plowing down a whole bunch of trees. Well, there's not an infrastructure for that. Like, okay, he's opening up the parks, and we're all of a sudden, how is that going to all of a sudden become toilet paper? How quickly do you think that can, so that's going to be chaotic, but he's also going to do all of these other things to keep people distracted and to keep the news cycle on other things. And the kinds of things that he's going to have to do to keep people distracted and not paying attention to the fact that they're going broke and they can't wipe their ass are terrorizing to even contemplate.
Yeah.
So I just want to say it's really is a rolling dumpster fire, right, on a mass scale, and will end up, if it follows, if he keeps tripling down on we got to have these tariffs, he keeps backing away because it looks bad, but if he does it and then he triples down on it because he's just can't be wrong about anything ever, and also the whole point was just to wreck economies for his daddy, then it will the whole economic stability will just fall right off the cliff. It will be what preceded the Great Depression. So not trying to be big and scary, but knowing history, this is a very, very, very bad path that we're on. And I don't think it's getting the right kind of framing and coverage. And maybe we should all be working on that a little bit.
Yeah. No, I was going to say something that floated out of my brain.
I'm sorry.
No. I think I was going to say hanging out, and I was going to say hanging in, and something.
Yeah, exactly. Discombobulated.
Yeah.
We're discombobulated.
All right, I'm going to take the banner down because we updated. We
updated something about the first testicle.
The second testicle. The one that hasn't dropped yet.
Ah!
JD Vance is a puppet. He is owned by Peter Thiel. And if Thiel says dance, then Vance is gonna dance. He's not the real deal. He's a fraud and a phony, and a fascist and a creep. Not a real hillbilly, eyeliner is silly, disastrous pick for Veep. JD Vance hates the ants with no kids and 4 cats. JD Vance is Comic Sans, and Musk is Zach Dingbats. JD Vance, there's a chance he's Dan Quayle meets Al Gore. JD Vance insulted France, Trump likes Elon more, but he's stuck with JD Vance. 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 He's stuck with JD Vance.
We're all stuck with JD Vance now. That's the problem. We're all stuck with him.
Oh, God.
I mean, he's probably going to be president, and he's a horrible fascist that has even less empathy than Musk and Trump, it seems like. It's not great.
Something's wrong with him.
This guy. Yeah.
Definitely.
I don't know. I don't
All right, I'm starting the 8 minutes. Oh, just popped.
Uh-oh. Oh.
We're going to keep this. Meanwhile, in Europe, normally our guest spot, but today we're rolling through things so that we can get to our after hours.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So, yeah, you want to start with what we just found out about?
Yeah, so we just found this thing out. I'm trying to process it because it's like one of those things that you hear and it's just reported by 3 different independent news outlets in Ukraine or connected to Ukraine. That the recent long-range missile attacks into Ukraine coming from Russia appear to have been guided by U.S. satellite information intelligence. So what that implies is horrific. It's that from inside the Pentagon somewhere, or probably if it's signal intelligence somewhere in there, that for this to be true reporting, it means folks in our national security apparatus are willfully aiding Russia, knowingly doing that so that they can have precise attacks on our ally. I can't even imagine who would be doing that and how they can get away with it without everybody, a lot of folks knowing. I can't imagine that many folks inside the national security apparatus who would have to be made aware of that and witness it would be okay with it. But I don't know. I mean, I just don't know.
It could be a
So this
Mustang,
is the
too.
reporting coming out of Europe.
Yeah, it could be Elon bypassing. That's perfectly, he is the government and also not the government.
But people would see that.
He's Schrodinger's.
That needs to, by the way, just a little side note, that needs to stop. This is not a legitimate agency, DOGE. And the way it's been normalized by the press, everyone covers it as if it's a real thing because it's doing stuff that the president is rubber stamping and allowing to happen, but it's not a real and as soon as everyone just talk about the emperor has no clothes, it's mind-boggling. My mom was so upset about that this morning, and I'm like, you're so right. This is insane. It's insane that you could turn on any news and they talk about it as if this is our government now. It's madness.
No,
it's mad.
It's ridiculous that.
Oh my!
We needed
God.
everybody to stand up and refuse it, and they missed it. But getting back to the
so
the Ukraine thing, our friend Zarina Zabriskie is there. She's in Kherson. She's in Odessa.
Yeah.
She's moving around. Everything is just continuing. They're bombing the shit out of places. They're blowing up apartment buildings. They're attacking civilians. There's drones going around shooting old ladies in the street. Like that's what he's doing there.
Yeah,
that's what Trump is abetting right now. Yeah. And therefore, that's what our government is abetting. That's what we're authorizing. So the Europeans are, they're like, we're out. Like I listened to Arthur Snell had an emergency podcast like a couple days ago talking about the guest was an MP from Great Britain talking about all the people that he had spoken to there at the meetings and was like, nobody trusts the United States anymore. Nobody trusts them.
Nor should they.
We don't know where they're going. We don't know what they're going to do. And now it looks like NATO is going to move, if not to throw us out, to at least make it so that they don't need us or rely on us as much, which is going to take time because militarily, there's a lot of things that we do there and have done since 1945 that they're going to have to like ramp up on now.
It's just mind blowing.
Best case scenario is that we just have a whole bunch of armed forces in Europe again. Great. And, France is going to probably up its nuclear capability. Also great. That's what I was going to say before, by the way. I remembered. I said with the tariffs, the best case scenario is Trump is just manipulating the market. That's the best case scenario. It's just bank corruption. Anyway, so this is all going on. There's a French politician named Claude Mahoret who said, we were at war with a dictator. Now we are at war with a dictator backed by a traitor. Talking about Trump.
Talking about Trump being the traitor. Dictators
are easy to spot in French, but they're easy to spot, and that's it. And to the point about intelligence, I mean, Five Eyes, nobody's giving us shit with Tulsi.
No, they've stopped. Yeah, and
I don't know that our thing is going to be any use or utility to anybody.
It's an insane conversation that we're having.
Yeah.
Just relaying what's happening. It's not a fantasy or a paranoid delusion or whatever about what we think might this is actually happening.
This is like
our allies are not going to share intelligence with us anymore.
Yeah, because they don't
and have
trust
stated
it.
Such. They cannot be trusted.
So the good news, I guess, if you're looking for good news, is that, Europe does seem like it's going to band together and handle the problem in a way that, it looks like, that it's certainly trending in that direction. And it was not before J.D. Vance opened his big, stupid testicle mouth in Munich, right?
Oh, my God.
But, he had to go there because Peter Thiel sent him, or whoever the fuck his handler is, sent him there. I don't think that guy has any agency at all. I think he's literally he's just like Chunk portrayed him in that beautiful video, just a puppet. So again, and I know I keep saying this over and over again, but we have had relative peace in most of Europe for 80 years now, since the end of the Second World War. And the reason why is because of NATO. Because of NATO and America's role as the hegemon and the most powerful force in the world, but certainly in the Western alliance, acting as a, I guess the last defense there, and that prevented and was a deterrent to the Soviets and was a deterrent now to the Russians, and that is gone. Trump has destroyed the Pax Americana. It's fucking over. It's over. In how long has he been there? 2 months. Biden put it back together. Trump ruined it. Like a big, like he looked at the Jenga tower and he just like kicked it.
He did. It's like, I don't understand this. There. Yeah.
You know, that's the reality. I mean, it's and I don't know what I don't know what, even if we're able to get rid of these motherfuckers, these Nazis, in a way that we can still salvage the democracy, I don't know what it will take after that for Europe to trust us. I don't know what it will take. I really
don't. I don't either. It's going to take a lot. Leadership at the very least.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know where that leader is going to come from, but I can be hopeful for it. Maybe.
Canada?
New
York? How about New York?
Oh boy. Okay. Let's get into, not that this has been such an uplifting show, Greg Olear.
I know, it's fun, right?
It's fun. It's fun. But
everything.
These are the topics of what's going on right now, and it's okay to talk about it. And we'll share some positive stuff at the end. We'll leave guys on an okay note. But I'm going to start the timer on this next thing, which is about the destruction. So I do think it's important to kind of just keep track. So we'll do a little bit of keeping track of what is being dismantled in the federal government, always reminding everybody that in a democracy, right? And I'm not trying to dumbsplain to our audience. I'm just saying this because this is me talking to the internet and it gets stuck forever out there. In a democracy, the concept of it is we the people, a government by the people, for the people, right? Of the people. So we decide we don't want a king ruling. We don't want DOGE. We don't want some douchebag billionaire from South Africa who stole all the plans anyway for it. All this stuff, is not an engineer and he has a myth and he's a fraud and he's on ketamine. We don't want that ruling over us. We decided this as a nation a few hundred years ago. We threw off the rule of the king and said, okay, so then we're going to have to govern ourselves. And what does that take? What does that mean? It means, well, let's see. Do we want our kids educated? Do we want the next generation do we want education? Yes, we want, okay, we're going to have to create an agency, right? So it's beyond the three branches of government. The laws, you got to come up with the laws. We agree upon the laws. We're all going to live by, right? Under the Constitution, we'll have a Constitution. We'll write it down. And we're all going to agree to live this so that we can be in a civil society. So we're not just running around. Somebody's taking my horse over here. Another person is just walking into my house and right. And then, and then you can't just, I have a right to work and I'm not your slave. You have to pay me stuff, right? That is like about having a civil society that can develop and progress and move forward. We've had a lot of fits and starts with all that. We've been through the getting rid of throwing off slavery. We've been through a lot, right? Civil rights movement, all these things. But anyway, working towards that better union under the rules of the sort of rule of law that we all agreed to. Then to enforce that, you're going to have all these jobs. You're going to have people. You can have judges. You can have systems. The systems are run by people. Not AI, not Grok. People are going to have to, it's people, but of the people, by the people, of the people, jobs, people overseeing, right? Then you want education. We're going to have to create agencies for that kind of stuff. It needs funding. How are we going to fund this thing? Well, we'll pay our taxes. We're not going to pay our taxes to a king. We'll pay taxes into a system, right, where then it gets used for our benefit so that I can have a road to drive on. So there's power. So that when I go to the store to buy food, it's not going to poison me. When I turn on the faucet, first of all, it works if you're on, city or whatever, but then, because it goes down to the local level, but also that when I drink that water, it's not going to poison me. Maybe there's even stuff like we could finally figure out in this nation, my child is sick with cancer. Hopefully there's somebody doing the good work to make sure that we're working towards a cure, but at least have great treatment for my child. Stuff like that. It's nice, right?
It's the hallmark of
That's what it is.
Civilization. And
that's what it is. It's the hallmark of a civilization. You have to have people in jobs to do that. AI is not going to come up with a cure. It's human beings.
AI's cure for human beings is going to be to kill us all, as every science fiction writer ever has concluded.
So just as a reminder,
yeah,
that's why there's all these jobs and we pay taxes. We pay our taxes so that it will work for us, but someone's going to have to do that work. It takes manpower to have a government. A government doesn't just exist in an idea. And so when you say, well, get rid of the government, well, then you're not going to have any of that stuff we just described that keep a civil society and keep you safe and keep you healthy and advance, and allow your child to have opportunities and allow you to drive down the road and not fall down through a bridge or whatever, that's destroyed. It takes people to make that happen, jobs to make that happen. All right. So let's go through the list of things that are being destroyed. By the way, in the federal government, 30% of the jobs of federal employees, a full 30% are veterans. Oh yeah, the military. You want a military?
No.
We pay for that. Those are jobs. That's people, human beings.
We just need a militia. I'm just going to get my own militia.
I really feel like somebody came up with that years ago. I remember in the Reagan era, it was like, they're spending $10,000 on a hammer. Like someone came up with some incredible thing for a hammer. And that became what people's idea of government was.
Right.
Like that was
That's where it started. Reagan, the fucker. And that
That's
Grover Norquist.
But no, it's like, okay, so it's jobs. So anyway, let's go through the list. I know we talked about having a list of sort of tracking what DOGE is destroying.
Again, my contention is that
agency run by a mythical man.
And these people they're carrying water for the Kremlin. That's what they're doing. Okay. Right. So here's where we're at. Okay. USAID, which again promotes democracy and American values and everything all over the world. 10,000 people laid off. CIA, 200 plus. NSA, 200 plus. Department of Defense, 5,400 layoffs. National Nuclear Securities Administration, 300 people. That seems like maybe an important one to me, the one that manages the nukes.
Exactly. And 300 people, this isn't 300 people that are like, okay, it's assistants that maybe you didn't need. These are scientists.
Yeah, they're people we fucking need in these jobs. Okay. Yeah. NASA, I was unable to get an exact number for NASA, but I'm sure SpaceX, man, doesn't want NASA. NOAA, which is the Weather Service, 800 people. Health and Human Services, 5,000 people. The CDC, 1,300 people. National Institute for Health, 1,200 people. FEMA, 200 people. All these people gone, laid off, meaning all of these agencies don't know what they're doing right now. And
plus also their email shut down, their communication, whatever work they were working on, it's done, dead. They can't even, and even as they bring people back, like they let go of all the FAA, that, the folks that were supporting air traffic control, if not just air traffic control themselves. And they said, oh, we made a mistake. We got to bring all those people back because planes are falling out of the sky. They're locked out of their communications. Don't know, where's the job I was just working on. It's chaos. It's chaos.
Well, big balls, he'll hook him back
Oh,
up.
for God's sakes.
Social Security Administration, 50 people and more coming. FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, 700. FAA, as you alluded to, 400. National Park Service, 1,000 people. The EPA, 400 people. The IRS, every dollar that the IRS invested in the IRS yields $7 back. But they're laying off 7,000 people at the IRS.
7,000.
That's a stupid thing. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, 73 people. That's who you call.
That's gone.
I think rips you off. Yeah, that's it. The FDIC, which prevents runs on the bank, 170 people. The National Forest Service, 3,400 people. The Department of Veterans Affairs, 1,000 people just to fuck the veterans. Department.
But hang on, and then there's another 80,000. They just floated that. There's press got their hands on. There's 80,000 jobs going to be erased from Veteran Affairs. That's it. That's the whole thing.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Department of the Interior, 2,300. HUD, 4,000, and the Bureau of Land Management, 800, which might be everybody, but they were going to get rid of that anyway because they thought BLM stood for Black Lives Matter.
That's right.
And that's not even. We're not even done yet, because then you have across the board all the DEI layoffs. That's across the entire government.
The
They're so
Fulbright
stupid.
Fulbright was just shut down. They shut down Fulbright, so 12,000 people abroad cut off.
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah,
that's
happened.
bad. Their AI is so sophisticated that they went through to figure out what web pages they needed to memory hole, and they had to erase the Enola Gay, which is the name of the plane that we dropped the atomic bomb, because it had the word gay in it.
Yeah.
That's what we're dealing with. Then there's also all of the contracts that the government has with people. They're screwing Columbia University now. They're screwing IBM. They're screwing Deloitte. There's a long list of these companies.
But I bet that Elon's companies got even more, even while his rockets or satellites are exploding and falling out of the sky into the Gulf of SpaceX debris.
Yep. So now I ask you, and I don't ask you, this is rhetorical, but I think any MAGA people out there that are chirping about this, how exactly does this make us safe? Why exactly don't we have the money and the strongest economy that we've had in a while that Biden gave to Trump? Why is this necessary now? And even if it was necessary now, why do we have to do it in the first 6 weeks without any oversight? And why does it have to be done by some weirdo with a chainsaw and a baseball cap and a bunch of catamites behind him? It makes no sense.
Well, let's ask Hazroff.
Yeah.
You guys know that name is. Did I say it right?
I think it's right? Krasnov.
Krasnov.
Yeah. Krasnov. I kept saying I had to really work on it. For some reason, it didn't stick in my head.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Krasnov is the name that the Soviets gave Donald Trump back when it was the Soviet Union and they had first recruited him.
Yeah. That's if you believe he's an asset, So
ask Krasnov. Again, my mother was on fire this morning. It's like, Hillary Clinton was in that Benghazi, whatever, and she said that line that made them all go crazy, but she was right. Whether it was this that happened or this, what's the difference? We're still dealing with what does it matter? We got to confront the reality of the place that we're in. So whether, he just got used by them. He's just stupid. He's just a toddler. He just doesn't know what he's doing. He's just in there. He can't be a Kremlin, whether he's that or whether he's a full-on asset, if not a Manchurian candidate to the 1000th degree. When it comes to all this that we're talking about, what does it matter?
Yeah.
What does that matter? Where the only place that it matters is in what the hell are the people in the government, whatever jobs are left, especially within our national security, especially from the Pentagon. This being fact, what are you going to do about it? Oh, that's right.
They're going to hold up signs.
They're going to hold up their signs. Mournful signage.
Mournful signage.
Okay. So we had to go through that, guys. It's important to kind of look at that and sort of see where we're going, but we are losing it. And Department of Education, we haven't gotten to that yet.
Oh, right. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
It's being run by the lady that runs the World Wrestling.
Right. Because somebody who runs and built an empire out of having the uneducated and maybe some that are educated people gather for a fake show, but it gives them a vicarious expression of hatred and having them go over the blood sport. Certainly wouldn't have been on the radar of anything like, okay, maybe these are the Americans that we can radicalize. I don't know.
Hey, which country is Hulk Hogan an ambassador to? I forget.
I don't remember. Which one?
I'm just kidding. I think I'm kidding.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I know Peter Thiel funded his lawsuit. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
8 minutes left. Last topic. As the crow flies. Oh.
We have to do we have announcements?
Oh, yeah, announcements.
Announcements are we have after hours.
We have an after
coming
hours.
up. It'll probably be a little earlier than scheduled. It'll probably be we'll do it at 9:15, I think, instead of 9:30. So we have after hours. That'll be on our page. And it should just be there at the beginning. And if you're a member, you'll be able to watch. And if you're not a member, you will not be able to watch.
So join now. Yeah. If you haven't joined, there's a little on your YouTube page. You can see a little option there to join. It's next to subscribe. And then you can pick your membership. We make it so easy. It's just whatever. But we want to give you guys a little extra. We got some stories. We'll tell some stories.
Yeah.
All right. I don't have anything other than that.
I don't either.
I don't think we have anything coming up. I don't think we have anything coming up, but we will soon. And then we'll have more announcements.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Now we're going again.
Big announcement we might have soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That'll be a good one. So you came up.
I did.
To the Adirondacks and we did a live show. And what did you think about the community up here?
It was really great. I mean, it's a great organization. It's Adirondack Voters for Change.
Yeah.
Well attended this meeting. And for me, I mean, you have to understand that coming up in the world of novel writing, I expect when I appear at something that there'll be like 4 people there.
I understand. I know it's always your fear.
And one of them is going to go to the bathroom in the middle, and it's just going to be there's a mass of people where if it goes under the number, it's not fun.
Right.
So I always have that in the back of my head, and I know what to expect. So it was, first of all, it was very well attended, and everybody listened to us, which was also very nice. But what my main takeaway is that, there's so much energy there, and there's so much positive energy, and the desire to do good things and to, rescue the country from where it's headed, and to, basically turn around the wheel before we fall off the cliff. And I think there's a lot of people that are willing to do what it will take, and are eager to help other people. So it's nice to get out into the community and see that energy, that positive force. Because sometimes when you're, you doom scroll, it's so overwhelming. It's just like, what the fuck can they do next? What can they do next? And
also you feel so small and helpless.
Right.
And to really have grassroots things happening in your community and be a part of it, I just encourage that for everyone. I'm loving it. And I'm just barely like putting my toe in the water, but because there's folks here that have been doing this, my parents being 2 of them, for a long time, just, and we had, what was her name now? Sarah Reesky from New York Indivisible, come and speak with us. If those of you watching, you can see the show. It's still on our YouTube. You can go back and see what Sarah had to say. And she really also sharpened everybody's attention around that the Medicaid, this is the fight, the same fight we had for the ACA, multiply it by 1,000, and we're in that fight to save Medicaid. When you come into a place like where we live up here, we're in a rural, even though there's a lot of tourism and, all that, it's a rural community. with farmers and all of that. But we have a hospital here, and then we have to drive quite a ways for the next hospital. Well, the hospital we have here, 50% of the hospital, of the money coming into that hospital, is from Medicaid. So if Medicaid is gone, rural hospitals all across the country are going to shut down because there's not going to be any money. There's not going to be anything to any way of keeping the lights on and keeping the doctors paid. Just won't exist. And it's really, 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 really going to hurt. That map, that's the two maps where one is join the rallies, march to stop the cuts, happening on March 15th, New York City and other locations. Thank you, Ellen. She's watching. That's our Ellen. Yay for Automatic Voters for Change. Wonderful. So, Sarah really focused us on, we've got to, this budget, whatever thing that they're floating, and with the whole secret thing of like, we're going to get rid of Medicaid and somehow that's great for everybody, and Medicare and Social Security taking it as well. We've got until March 27th to put a stop to that. So make yourself loud, big, noisy, calling, showing up, marching. We cannot let this happen. And what I was just saying before I saw Ellen, those two maps of, this is a map of voters, and this is a map, if it's red and blue, of just land. Land doesn't vote. We've all seen that map, and it looks like the whole nation is red. And Lara Trump loves to put that up and, do her thing. But say, this is the map. And then people correct and say, no, actually, this is the map of voters. Well, think about that red map. Everywhere where it's saturated red and we know it's land, now erase all the hospitals.
Yeah. They want to bring it back to the Old West. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be like one, kind of shady doctor running around.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good.
No.
And it's already, we don't need it to be this way.
Right. So, but the encouraging thing about the last Sunday night was we really can stop it. Like it's, we can get out there and stop this thing. We can do it one, whether it's one act at a time, one bill at a time, one self-destructive thing happening at a time. It's beyond putting sand in the gears. We can really show up and say no to this. No, you're not going to do this. And reach across that. I'll talk to everybody in your family. Say, you know what? We can't lose Medicaid. And I made a comment there, which I've made a lot of times, and then I heard Chuck Schumer pick up this say my words it was very interesting. The Medicaid also is how nursing homes, skilled nursing, assisted living is paid for the most part. So get your guest rooms ready, because your mom, your dad, your grandma is moving in, because it's not going to be, caring for our elderly. We have farmed that out. We made that decision as a society that we were going to, and the elderly made that decision. Our elder citizens also, so many of them want that. I didn't want to be a burden on my family. You hear all of this because it's heavy. It's heavy. Yeah. It's expensive. It's time consuming. It is. It's a lot. It's a shift of your life in a massive way. And I'm not sure that there's a selfishness behind more than anything else. Yes, there's misogyny. Yes, there's racism. Yes, there's just sort of ignorance. But for the sort of low information voters, even no matter how educated, they didn't really tune in. Like, okay, let's just put Trump back in there. Who maybe Fox News is on the background, but they're not that engaged, right? For those folks, of which there are a lot of Americans like that, there's a selfishness driving all of that. And that selfishness doesn't want to forego their vacation, their lake toys, their new car, their whatever they were spending and wanting, and time wise and financially, on themselves, that their space, their home, their rooms in their house, of what they come home to. They're not going to they're not going to be up for this. They're not. This is not what they want. I promise you. So there's a way to even enroll very selfish fuckheads into this mission of stopping the destruction of Medicaid. And that's the way it does stop the room. I dropped that line in the room Sunday night and it stopped everybody. I went, oh, I was like, get your guest room ready. And everyone's, they felt it. It's a visceral, like, no,
right.
I can't do that.
Yeah. You were particularly good, by the way, at the
Thank you.
Thanks, so people should go watch that. If you could ignore me like fidgeting in the foreground of the whole damn video.
Well, also it was on your computer. So you still had the pulled focus thing with the people. Things
I can't figure out how to undo that.
You can't figure out how to undo it on your new computer. So, but you can hear everybody and you can tell what we're saying and what we're doing. It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. One last point about the Medicare thing. I mean, a society, I think, should be judged by how it treats, the most needy and the most vulnerable. And if we can't as a society, as a country here, as wealthy as we are, with as much shit as we have available to us, if we can't take care of our elderly that need taking care of,
and we keep forgetting about the disabled.
Yeah. It's a lot of people. If we can't do that, that's why Social Security exists. That's why FDR did all this stuff, because and they had it this isn't an American invention either. They had a similar program in Vienna in the 1870s or whatever. So, but this is what advanced empathic societies do. And if we can't do that, we don't deserve to function as a society. I mean, we really don't. And these people that are in charge now want to take all that away, because they're Nazis. That's what the Nazis did with the elderly and the disabled. They just were like, send them to the camps, get rid of them. And the people that we have now, that's what they are.
Oh God.
And not to end it on a
no, I just had us in a positive place. Yeah. But listen, here's what I know. I know that we all can show up. You can show up in your local community at the very least. You can find, I had people telling me, because I was letting folks know, that I've met here. It's like, Sunday night, this is last week. And I had people texting me back going, I had no idea this even existed. And we still had that great turnout. So there's still people to turn on, to show up here. Right. Yeah. And we've got a lot of active groups here. So there's Indivisible in your areas where you can get engaged with them, because that's all nationwide, and everybody, the chapters all over the place. There's of course the Democratic Party, you can do that, but maybe you can find a group like this, like our Voter for Change group, which is a nonprofit, and is all about advancing progress and sort of it being in a civil society and protecting democracy. I'm going to speak tomorrow, I think, if my ear will let me, to a group that's a pro-Ukrainian group that's gathering together because we have so many Ukrainians in our community. Yeah. Especially that come and, work, the kids that come and work during the summer for the tourism on those visas. So, you can find something. You can find something. And as soon as you find something to engage with, or whatever you're engaged with, if you already are in there, you can find people that that you can bring in to engage with you, and you can multiply your numbers. And as soon as you do that, you're going to feel it inside. You're going to feel it, and you're going to know it. We're going to get through it.
We'll see you in 15 minutes, or actually, yeah, something like that.